Everyone, and welcome back to Owoh's Corner, my own little corner of art. And today I'm doing a bit of an impromptu stream. What happened Tuesday? I usually stream Tuesdays and Fridays around noontime. And so what happened Tuesday was my Wi-Fi sort of conked out or something happened with my Wi-Fi to where it disconnected me and my stream ended earlier than what I was expecting. So I felt kind of bad for that. So I decided that today I'm going to have another stream. And not only that, but I'll probably stream a little bit longer than usual, or at least I'll try to. Because tomorrow I'm probably going to have to do some housework. Like I'm going to have to mow the lawn and do other stuff that's going to be around my usual streaming time. So I might not be able to stream tomorrow, but I'm not going to rush anything, but if I do end up finishing the stuff I have to do tomorrow, then you guys get an extra stream. So that's nice. That's pretty cool. Anyway, so for this stream, I am in fact going to be working some more on this background art for my animation for my teaser trailer. Uh guys, you should have seen it like earlier. I was streaming for like I want to say 2 hours Tuesday, and you guys only got like an hour and a half of it. But like, I was listening to music. I was probably like singing a little bit or like bobbing my head to the music. So I'm kind of glad I didn't embarrass myself that bad. Anyway, yeah. So let me work on this at least real quick for a little while. I also have some coffee right here, so I'm probably gonna stop every once in a while to sip some coffee, then get back to work. So right now I am looking at some of these buildings that I've drawn, and I still have to draw the different plants, and like there's a bench over here that a character's going to be sitting on. So I do think that for now at least what I can probably do is I can probably add some like red right here to this building, and then this building is going to be some tone of gray. Excuse me. Just clearing my throat a little bit. Okay, then I'm going to take the eraser tool and erase some of this excess that's bleeding through. And yeah, this is coming along nicely. I think after I finish at least these more detailed buildings, because for like the farther back buildings, they'll probably be either just black or it's going to be such a dark purple that it almost appears black, which would be really nice. And then I'm thinking for at least like the floating rocks, I can probably do like some really dark red and then add specks of maybe brown or some slight purple in there. That would actually look really nice, but I'm gonna wait till I get to that phase. When you're working on your art or when you're working on different assets for project, it's good to have a general idea. When it comes to art, there's always going to be these sporadic thoughts or fonts and moments of inspiration where it will look better if I did this, or what if I use this color. And it's good to have that because that's what will give your art its uniqueness. There are many things that give art its uniqueness, but that in particular, sort of that sporadic mind that we all have, can really add character to the art that you're working on. It's just also a good idea to sort of hone it or to sort of try and navigate it in a way to where it'll be your benefit. Because in that same vein, that sort of creative sporadic mind can in fact hold you back. Especially if you're an animator, you'll think, ooh, this animation will look better if I have a moment where the character is doing this, or where I have a moment where the character is punching this guy in the face. And those are good. It's nice to be inspired and it's nice to want to flaunt your animation abilities and your artistic abilities in general. But at the same time, you sort of have to rein it in because if you're adding too much, then you may never finish the project that you're working on. Because there are many animators and many artists in general who inspiration is always knocking at their doorstep. They're always getting sparks of inspiration or candles of inspiration that just light up in their head, and they'll be working on a project. But then they said, "Ooh, I have this idea. Ooh, now I have that idea," and then they like sort of flip flop between projects. And I'm gonna be honest, I have maybe like 1 second while I take a sip of coffee. I have my teaser trailer, but then at the same time, I have like three other animations or like little clips that I'm working on at the same time. And they're far shorter, but they serve as exercises as well as something else that I'm planning for my channel. Like I'm animating an intermission scene for OBS. I'm also animating a nice outro, and the outro is going to take me a little bit more time than I am expecting. But like I said, inspiration is always going to knock at your door. This has been a just really nice and really fun project for me to work on. Uh, kind of like I've just been thinking about this project and working on it in my free time fairly often. Like, and sometimes I'll actually go back and I may look at some of my streams or I'll look at some of the past videos I've done. And not just that, like, sometimes I actually find myself, like, just looking at the likes and the comments I get from time to time. And like that reinvigorates me. Like I'm not gonna stop what I'm doing. And like even if I do get a job and like a studio or something wants to hire me, I don't think I'm gonna stop YouTube. I think I'm gonna keep streaming. I'll definitely have to adapt my schedule, but I just love making videos and I love doing this. This is so exciting and it's so fun. And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I feel self conscious. Like sometimes I'll get replies and comments saying, "Oh, you should speak up more. Oh, you should have some inflection in your voice or show more emotion." And it's like, I do have emotion. I'm just a more reserved person. Reserved people exist. Like, I wouldn't call myself an introvert. I'm not an introvert at all. But people who are quiet do exist, or people who are more reserved are a thing. And then at the same time, like, I'm just not someone who likes shouting or raising my voice. I'm a fairly calm person. Like, that's just who I am. And that's what people like. That's what at least you all like, is the fact that I'm probably not that loud and I'm more down to earth, I suppose. Hmm. I'm trying to think what would be a good color for right here because these two buildings sort of have the same color, and I want to veer away from another. I wouldn't say copy pasted color, but another mm, you guys already know. I think what I can do is probably maybe do like a lighter purple or maybe a not a pink. Oh, I could do a lighter tan. That might actually help. Because there are more tan buildings. Maybe like a darker color. It doesn't need to be that bright. Because it is, in fact, a building, and there is sort of this wear and tear that happens to buildings, so you don't really see many bright colored buildings. They're actually rather earthy. So there are many grays and dark tans and even some that are red. This is coming along nicely. And I think what I can do, oh yeah, After Effects did in fact get an update. So now I can in fact put my animate files into After Effects now. So that's a big plus. But I do think what I am going to do is when it comes to compositing this footage that I'm gathering, I do in fact think I may add like some sort of gray or opacity, not opacity blur, but a just a blur in general to sort of sell the fact that these buildings are in the background, and it also is going to add some more dimension and detail, which is nice. I think I'm gonna turn on some music. Well, I'm gonna listen to some music. Sadly, I can't really put music on my stream because of copyright, but music does in fact help me draw, as well as just listening to stuff in general. Like that's pretty much what I do when I'm doing art is I'll either listen to some music or I'll probably like listen to lore videos. I was actually very much into like Tolkien lore. Like at least recently I've been watching that because like a couple months ago or like a couple weeks ago like I just wanted to watch some fantasy. And since I've been young, I actually was afraid of Lord of the Rings. I was afraid of Lord of the Rings, and I was also afraid of Harry Potter growing up. Like, keep in mind, like 8, 9 year old me was afraid of Gollum. I was also afraid of like that um what's it called? That scene where Harry was fighting that teacher and his face like burned and melted. Like that scared me. So I could never really get into that sort of high fantasy growing up. But like now that I am actually grown, somewhat grown, at least I think I've somewhat grown. I've sort of started returning to the fantasy that I sort of missed out on or I sealed away, I guess. That I didn't watch when I was younger. And it's actually really nice. I love fantasy. So I've been finding myself rewatching some fantasy movies. And when I was younger, I also like I'm just gonna be honest. Like I watched a lot of lore videos on Dark Souls, like the whole grim dark lore and fantasy of Dark Souls was always so entertaining to me. I do in fact think that we need more grimdark TV shows. Like I'm talking about eldritch horror, like people with a bunch of eyes, dark gods that kidnap people and are making brides out of whoever they want to, like crazy stuff like that. That that stuff has potential. Like it's actually so exciting because you sort of see with grimdark and with eldritch horror, you see there are stories about seeing the unseen. There are stories about sort of human nature and what human desire can bend them to do. Wanting answers, wanting knowledge, wanting information, wanting to advance and doing anything, even resorting to dark or misunderstood powers to do so. As well as just sort of that story of the hidden world or the unseen world, like the lore and the history that we don't know or we think we don't know, and like greater forces that have ill intent for people. Like that is rather wild and it's rather crazy. Like and crazy in a good way because there are so many different ways to tell stories and to give and convey experiences to people. Like, I love fantasy, I love sci fi, I love grimdark, I love. Now, I'm not much of a steampunk fan, but I do, in fact, love science fantasy. And each of these different stories, even cyberpunk, like each of these different stories and the different genres and ways stories are told, it's simultaneously escapism as well as messages or conveying stories to people. And that's the thing is I believe that all stories or at least most stories have sort of hidden messages or things that they're trying to teach and explain to people that is quite beautiful actually. And it's so interesting too. Okay, I finished these buildings in the far back, so I'm going to group them together. What did I name that? Okay. Nice, very nice. I'm just doing some erasing, cleaning up. Okay, looking good. Okay, so for these buildings in the far back, definitely what I can do is give this building right here and that building over here brighter colors just to sort of offset and keep the audience from what's the word? To keep the audience focused, because what I want for this scene and what I intend for this scene is for the audience to quickly and effectively look at the setting in its entirety and notice the greater background, which is these floating buildings as well. So these colors are more so going to serve as center point as well as a focusing mechanic, because most of the animation is taking place in the foreground, but you're also going to see these islands in the sky doing slight floating as well. So I think I'll probably have a light gray for this building, and then this building can be a. I don't know yet. That's the fun part of art is sometimes you don't know what you're gonna draw. You see, that's what I was fearing. I just started drawing this, and now this building that is one layer above it, it's coming across as interfering with this color right here. Even though it's a slight difference, it's different enough. And I don't want that happening. I definitely want this to be a bit darker, just so it's not too overpowering. I don't want anything that looks outlandish or out of the norm. I just want a sort of something eye catching. Okay, coming along pretty good. Okay. looking good. I'm liking how this is going. Hmm. Now, I think what I. Ooh, let me get close to the mic. Now, I think what I may end up doing is I'll probably have this taking place at night. The previous scene, I couldn't really sort of sell a time of day simply because it was a top down view, but the entire animation is happening like at night. So that would be nice. That would be actually really good. And then when I put this through After Effects, what I can do is add different shadows and add a sort of focus to the foreground. So then it's sort of like this zoomed in effect or an almost, well, a focused effect, I guess you could say. Now let me reveal these layers and see how it looks. Okay, I think this looks pretty good, and I'm definitely liking how this looks and how this is turning out. Now, because I went heavy on the purple, what I'm gonna have to do for the background is actually use a dark blue tint, because if I make it purple, the sky purple, then it may end up hurting the overall piece rather than helping it. I may end up causing the windows to blend into the sky, and that's not something I want to do. And so then what I can do is probably add a tint of maybe black or dark blue at the bottom here. Then using my brush tool, I can blend it, which is gonna, at least I'm pretty sure it's gonna come out pretty good. Hmm. So I think if I have some black towards the bottom, and then I add specks of maybe gray in the sky, that will actually help what I'm trying to go for. I'm going to turn some of these layers back on so then I can see what this looks like. I think that looks pretty good. It's, yeah, I think it definitely adds some character. And then what I can probably do is either in post production, yeah, in After Effects, I'll probably add some like lights or some glows behind some of these buildings. Yeah, this works. This is definitely nice. Now I just need to add some grays up top. Okay. I think this is coming along rather nicely. I'm still new to using the blending brush. Like I am. I'm just gonna be like honest. I mostly do a lot of like cell shading stuff. So like to actually have a chance to get better with my shading in general and like trying to make more realistic or more detailed pieces is rather nice. I like it. And I've liked this phase, this facet of design and art. Yeah, but it looks pretty good. At least to me, it does. It looks like it's about to rain outside. Like, I usually go on my morning jog, but I didn't today because it looked like it was gonna rain. And like one of my fears is like going out for like a walk or something, and then it's just pouring down, raining. Because like while I was living on campus, there was this one time, and anyone who's watching me, like I probably mentioned this before, but like my personal philosophy, always bring like a jacket with a hood or something with like a hood on it. Even if you don't want to lug around an umbrella, bring like a jacket or some type of pullover that has a hood. Because one time when I was living on campus, I had a night class. I had like astronomy or astrology or whatever, and my lab was at night. So I was walking home. Well, I wasn't walking home, but I was walking back to my residence hall from the building, which is on the other side of campus, and I was walking, and there was just like a wall of water just came right towards me. Like I saw water off in the distance, and it was like slowly coming towards me. So I had to like put on my freaking jacket that I had over my shoulder. And like I had it up, and then I also remember I brought my like mini laptop with me, and I didn't want that to get damaged. So like I had my satchel like in my jacket with me while I was walking back to my residence hall. And then it started thundering. That's what really scared me. Like I heard like booms and thunder. And I'm just like praying, don't let me get struck by lightning. It was freaking wild, but yeah, like that kind of scarred me. And then what else kind of scarred me is like this is my freshman year of college. And oh my gosh, I swore to like keep this experience in the back of my head. Like I wouldn't even mention it, but like I'll mention it this time. This was my first college football game, and there was a weather warning, like a rain warning or something like that. And so the game kept playing and postponing, and people going inside. Like the announcers, they were saying like, "Oh, there's gonna be rain. Everybody go down. Everybody like go under the stadium to like where the concessions are." And so it was just a constant going in and out of the stadium. So then I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go home. And I had walked there with like my entire residence hall, and I saw other people like they were getting like cabs or whatever, not cabs, but like our safe ride, which is like this whole thing that my college does, where if you're like off campus or somewhere in campus, you can be picked up. Sadly, I called Safe Ride, and there were no drivers who could come pick me up. So then I said, you know what? I'm just gonna walk back to my residence hall. How far can it be? And I remember when I went there with my residence hall, because we had like this whole event, we had to like walk through a neighborhood, and I was freaking lost. I didn't know where I was. So I had my phone open, I had my GPS open, but then I'm like, I really don't want to walk through this neighborhood because like what if they think I'm a robber or something? Or what if they call the cops on me? So like I'm trying to avoid going into like the neighborhood by the Coliseum as much as I can until it started raining. And then the rain started getting on my phone, and I was trying to swipe the water off my phone so I could look at the instructions, and I was freaking lost. I didn't know where I was. I called the campus police. I called 911. I said I was lost. I said I didn't know where I was. They said, "Hey, go back to the stadium." Like they guided me back to the stadium. I couldn't read the signs. I couldn't read the traffic signs. I didn't know where I was. I somehow, by the grace of God, somehow made it back to the stadium, to the arena. And then I said, you know what? Let me call my roommate. My roommate has a car like he can probably pick me up or something. So I called my roommate. He said, "Okay, Amobi, don't worry. I'm coming to get you." And then like I had to walk to one of the gates in order to wait for him. And there was this big puddle, like rainwater was coming through the stadium through the rafters, and there was this big puddle, and it was wide, so I couldn't just walk around it, and I was rushing. So I tried to jump over the puddle. I didn't jump. I ended up tripping, and I accidentally drop kicked this random woman, and I felt really bad. Like we're both on the ground. Thankfully, I didn't bang anything or like I didn't start bleeding or anything, but I was so shocked from it, I couldn't stand up. So this big guy had to walk over to me and he had to help me stand up. And I kept saying, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't know where I am. I don't know what's going on." And Lord have mercy. I felt so bad. Like this was my first time being alone, being out on my own, and like it was horrible. And my phone didn't work because I got water in my phone. And then my roommate called me and he said, "Hey, I'm outside. I'm by this gate." So I walked over to the gate. I went in his house. Like I called my mom. I said, "Mom, I was out somewhere. Like I was in the arena. I didn't know where I was. I tried to get home. I got rained on." And then like she told me to give the phone to my roommate and she thanked my roommate. She said, "You're a good person. Thank you for looking out for my son." And I felt really freaking bad about that. And then like I got back to my residence hall. I took a shower. I had to put my phone in ice. And since that day, I decided not to go out anywhere. At least not go out anywhere alone. If you're ever going out somewhere, make sure you go with someone. Like honestly, make sure like if you're going out somewhere, tell someone where you're going and make sure you're with someone because you can get lost and things could happen and some people are not as kind as you may think they are. Like I was lucky. I like the people that I bumped into and my roommate, they were nice people. Like they didn't like punch me or attack me or anything like that. Like I said I was sorry and then I went about my business. I went on home. But like since then, haven't been to a football game. Haven't been to a football game. Whenever somebody asks like, "Hey, you want to go to the game with me?" Like I say, "You know what? I think I'm gonna sit this one out." So like yeah, that sort of shocked me for a while. That entire experience like shocked me for a while, and I didn't go to like any games for a time. But anyway, that was my college experience. That's what I went through. That's what I experienced. I miss college. I still miss college. Like even though my experience was rather horrible, I still kind of miss college, which is crazy. But hey, what can you do? Those were some good years of my life. College honestly was really fun. And even though I got traumatized by it, I don't regret going to college. But yeah, the lesson to be learned: always go somewhere with a jacket that has a hood on it, or wear something that has a hood on it in case it rains, and then make sure you know where you're going, how to get back, and make sure you call and tell someone where you're going. Memories. Like sometimes I do think about it. Like I'll be like sitting somewhere, and then like I'll say, "You know what? That was really funny." Or you know what? Now I know why I should tell people where I go. Okay. Okay, now I just need to do some cleanup. Nice, nice. Oh yeah, I've been working on a script for my character design video. It's going to go over what goes into character design, sort of the conscious and subconscious things that affect people when they are designing a character for media. And this and what I like to do when I make a tips and tricks video is it's not merely just for like animation or people who are doing character art. You can also take from my videos things that you can use in life or through different mediums. Like say you're a D&D player. You would actually, or at least I would want you to take inspiration from my character design video when I make it. Like there are many things that go into character design, like not just if you're taking inspiration from like another work, like another media, but also your personal biases, what you like, what you don't like, maybe things that you're going through or struggling with can affect your character design as well. Like say you like, I don't know, muscular men or like lithe women, then if you're designing a character and you want that character to be beautiful, then more than likely it's going to be a muscular man or a lithe beautiful woman. It's sort of that unconscious bias and unconscious preferences that really drive character design. And not just that, but say your location is in Egypt or somewhere Egypt adjacent, then you're gonna have characters with very bronze skin, dark skinned even, or with like a hint of green in it, because that is how a lot of because that's what the skin color people are in those regions is they have like a hint of olive skin. Um, Different things like that. And when it comes to character design and characters in general, there is a lot of stigma towards self inserts as well as like Mary Sue's. And on the subject of, self inserts, if you are truly passionate and a truly creative person, then you are either consciously or subconsciously going to put aspects of yourself or aspects that you see in yourself in the characters you create. That's just a given. But at the same time, you don't want to make the story about you. You can give this character things that you have not gone through or things you don't have. If you're not a rich person, then perhaps you could have the character be from a well off family. If you are a short person, then perhaps you could have this character be taller or more well built. And then on the subject of Mary Sue's or perfect characters in general, it is good to have characters with flaws or have characters where things do not go their way because it's a chance for growth. Really, all a story is just working through your problems. Like that's literally what stories are. Is things not going your way and then you working towards or trying to get something done or get something that you want. And in fact, I do think that sort of perfect characters or characters that are meant to have wide skill sets, they can be characters. They may not have personal problems, but their issues and their flaws can come in with how they interact with people. Like, look at the characters from Genshin Impact, specifically the characters who are gods or long lived. The Raiden Shogun, she is the goddess of her nation, Inazuma. She is very old, she's very powerful, she is a brilliant mind. She made a puppet body for herself and she rules her nation. However, she is also dealing with PTSD and her own traumas, and throughout her personal story, she is working through her problems. Like her closest friends died, her sister died. Like she is stealing visions, the magic system, the powers of other people because she thinks that her people can't bear the weight of their own dreams and ambitions. Like even though she has the makings of a quote unquote perfect character, she still has her flaws and she still has her issues that she is working through. Like a literal goddess that is imperfect. And so I think if someone wants to write a story about a Mary Sue or write a story about a character that maybe isn't perfect, but things either come naturally or easier to them, then have them be lacking in the social aspect because they're good at so many things or because they have so many skills. Perhaps people do not like them. Perhaps they are otherworldly and they don't make sense. So they can be good at crafting, they could be good at drawing, they could be good at magic, what have you, but that causes people to turn away from them. Perhaps people can't relate to them, so they are widely disliked for their skills. And so then that character needs to go through an arc of humility. Perhaps using their skills, they don't have to be a civil servant and like teach people and like talk down to them in a way, but they can sort of learn that, I have all these skills and that is what is separating me from these people that I want to connect with. That is why I am not a liked person. And actually, yeah, this is gonna take me some time to sort of work through and work throughout. But like, what I learned is that there is like man versus man, man versus self, and man versus world. So like, if you have a, there are ways you can make a skilled character, more realistic and more believable. Like you have that whole entire thing with like, isn't there like this whole trope with like the prodigy student that thinks that they're better than people or things come easy to them, and their whole arc and their whole thing that they go through is the fact that no, they're not perfect, they're not better than people, like they've just gone through stuff or do stuff like that has given them their skills, and then even then they feel like honor bound and dutiful. Like I guess a good character I would sort of attribute to a, not really Mary Sue, but like a prodigy character would be that blonde haired character from Little Witch Academia. I forgot her name, but like we learn throughout her story that she is very honor bound and duty bound to her family. She wants to make sure that her family is all right. She even went as far as to like dropping out of school just to keep her family estate running so that they can be all right. And so like her rival or her like yeah, her rival ended up leaving school just to travel on like on a trip to talk some sense into her and to get her to go back to school. And then later on we learned that this character also struggled with magic, that they sort of had some of their magic stolen or whatever. Like it's been a while since I've watched Little Witch Academia, and it was sort of like a spur of the moment thing. But like we learned that she also suffered in a way to where her magic was sort of stripped from her. So what we learned is that she is such a hard worker and she is such a prodigy because she was determined and driven to get better. at magic because she had the weight of her family and the weight of her family's reputation on her. There aren't many examples that I can give, but I definitely think that prodigy characters can and do have potential for storytelling. It's just the way you go about it. I think that may be good for now. So what I'm gonna do real quick is I'm going to reveal all these layers so you guys can see the progress I've made thus far. So anyway, this is the project I have so far with my background. I think I've done a pretty good job, a pretty decent job. I added some detail in certain places, and in other places I left some detail out, or I only added like slight detail because I have to put this with my animation that I've been working on for a while. And yeah, scene 3 for my Witches 13 teaser trailer. Yeah, this has been a big project and it's been really nice to work on. And it's been fun streaming myself work on this, talking to people, sharing how I feel, just talking about my life in general and what I've been up to. Yeah, and this is the part where I drone on again and don't finish my point. Sorry about that. Anyway, I think this is it for now. I'll definitely do some more work in my free time off stream. If I end up streaming tomorrow, Friday, then that just means that you guys get an extra stream from me, which is always nice. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share even if you want to. And yeah, this has been Owoh's Corner, my own little corner of art. I'll see you guys in my next video or stream. Bye.